Hi all, this is well the other sir, the maths teacher. I'm just waiting for the IT teacher to log in, right? He's having a little problem with his internet. So he just trying to to log in, but he'll be here just now, right? So that's hold on tight. And sir will be here in a few minutes.
Hello, everybody. Sorry for being 7 minutes late. I'm so sorry. I do apologize. Just a quick screen check. Can you all see my screen, the PowerPoint? Okay, very good. Very good. I am using the web version of Zoom, so let's hope everything it does not give trouble. So how is everyone today? How was your morning? How was your classes this morning? Alvin says good. Maliki says tired. Nathan says sleepy. Midday at it's not even 12 o'clock and you're sleepy, Nathan. Sabani says very nice. Arden excellent. Patel fine. Somebody says terrible. Somebody saying now get up. What? All right, class. So do you all remember what we spoke about last week? What we talked about last week's class? And do you all remember what we said we were going to do in today's class? Someone says they can't hear me. Mitchell says they can't hear me, but everyone else could hear me. G1 was paying attention. Daniel was paying attention. Tristan says he can't remember. Tristan, you might have to get you some ginkgo. Get some, and Aidan, right? Aidan and Enrique and Sonia was also paying attention. We're gonna in today's last week class we spoke about routers, modem. Yes. And in today's class I said we were going to do a new topic called Pascal programming, our favorite and most easiest of IT topics. So who's here is excited about programming? I know I am. I am excited. I am somewhat excited about programming. So class, before we get into that, I just want you all to go to this website that I will share in the chat. Um, it will be the compiler that we will be using for it is the compiler we will be using to do our Pascal programming. So can you all just verify you all could visit the website and ensure that it's up and running? Because it is a lot easier to use this compiler on your laptop when you have an internet connection. Why? Because it's you gotta go and download anything and install no program on your computer. So some of you have it up and running. Awesome. Also, also, before we start and we get into this awesome, into some Pascal programming, I want to get an idea of your understanding of where you are, where the class is with respect to programming. So you all should see I put up a QR code for a quiz. It's just 5 questions or 7 questions. Somebody says they have Dev Pascal. What? You're on a different level there, Haridas. If you're on a phone, it might be a bit of a challenge, but here's the link again. So, oh, the link for the little short quiz. All right, hold on. Let me get that for you all. Some of you are excited about this short quiz. I have some students here who love quizzes, but they don't like to tell anybody. Jiwan, you should have done finished that quiz already. Yes, Aidan, you're going to Form 4. How many of you are going to Form 4 and going to Form 5? And how many of you have started Pascal already? Christian says Form 5. Lucian, Form 4. Enrique, Form 4. Nice. You know what is great that you are getting exposure to this now becomes because some teachers like to wait last minute to do Pascal. And as a result, some students don't have an appreciation for it. So let's see how students are doing with the quiz so far. All right, some of you, 1 or 2 people are having challenges. Right. Let's see. Okay, as I suspect, I some of this Pascal is a bit of a challenging uh, topic for many of us. So let us go real quick, do this very quickly before we start our first line of code, before we start to talk about Pascal. So I'm seeing a lot of students getting the first question wrong. All right, so just bear in mind, we're talking about Pascal coding and not algorithms. And we will talk about algorithms and flowchart a little bit in future classes. G1 says it was easy. Someone said it did. Angelo did Python. What? Angelo, there is some serious thing there. Someone said C as well. That is very good. They only do C. So the first question was, what is the Pascal? What do we use in Pascal to display an output onto the screen? And I'm trying to see if I have my marker. Where's my marker on the web version? Hope it works here. All right. So, oh, look, it's here. So class, now I could understand why some of you would have said display and I understand why some of you would have said print. Who answered display and print for this question? Right. I see Cassidy answered print. Avion said display. Adrian said, Arden, sorry, said print. Iwin said print. Vortex, Sonia, right? You all would have said print. You know why is that incorrect? What is happening is that some of the students that are thinking about pseudocode. When we're talking about pseudocode and sometimes C++, not necessarily, not C++, and other programming languages, to display an output, it would be display print, especially with pseudocode. But the question is not asking about pseudocode, it's asking about Pascal. And for my C students, some of you would have said C out or C++. Isn't that so, G1? Isn't that so? Or Janiki? But the question is C out. The question is asking about Pascal. So in Pascal, it is right line. Just bear that in mind. Okay, class? We're following? In C++ is actually C out. But in Pascal is right line. Which of the following is the correct syntax for declaring an integer? So you see how these questions getting a little bit hard? How many students got number 2 incorrect? Not much. Wow. I expected more students to get number 2 incorrect. Declaring of variables. All right, so we have a lot of, so great job, Anastasia, Ansel, Angel, Aziza, Enrique, Hayden, G1, Johnny. Wow, you all should get your stars. I feel some of you already did this, I feel some of you are Pascal experts and you're not telling me that. You're not telling me that you are Pascal experts. Somebody wants stars. Somebody want their stars. All right, so Livy, here's the link for the quiz. Answer first time. G1 will get stars. Lucian, awesome, got it correct. G1 wanted stars. But why right line? Okay, this quiz is very hard, and that is okay. So let us jump into the basics of Pascal. Just gonna change my screen once again. I have to keep doing this every time on this version. All right, class. So just confirm with me. You could see my PowerPoint. You're supposed to be able to see those two very famous football stars right now on the screen. Are you all seeing that? Okay, class. So we're going to talk about the Pascal playbook. We're going to not so much talk about what is Pascal, but we're going to talk about how to build your first Pascal program. Class, I would promise you by the end of today's class, you should be able to build your first Pascal program. So, first thing is that we have to, there are some steps, there are some very important steps that are required when writing, when doing a Pascal program. Very important steps. So, the first step is that we have to name our program. We have to give it a name. We all agree with that? And everyone here has a name. Shabby has a name, Kiara has a name, Sonia, Zach, Nathan, Anastasia. Everybody here has a name. So it only makes sense we give our programs a name. What WhatsApp is a name, Microsoft Word is a name of a program. Who could give me names of other programs as well? So it's that's the first thing you have to do when we're building a program. We have to give it a name, right? Pinterest. Pinterest is a name. Instagram is a name. Yes, Google Chrome is a name. So every program, every instruction, sets of instructions, algorithm, we have to give it a name. So how do we do that in Pascal? We do that in Pascal by, and I have to switch screens again. We have to go back to this nice little online Pascal program. So can you all see here on line 1, we have program name. What is the name of this program? I literally just highlighted it for everyone here. What is the name of this program? Yes, Shiloh, hello. Jerry, I am using Windows 7. That's a very good eye. Wow. How did you know that? Right. Hi, hello, Ansel, hello. Hello. Everybody's saying hello. Enrique say, you all saying the name of the program. Yes, that is correct. The name of the program is Hello. Nathan, not online GB. No, 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 no. That's the name of the compiler that we're using. Sure, stars if you want them. So class, when we are naming a program, giving a program a name, in Pascal, we have to write the word program first and then give it a name. So in this case, we want to call it hello. But what if I want to call it hello world? So hello space WORLD semicolon. Now, also bear in mind, the end of the line, we have to end the line, we have to put a semicolon. But class, if I were to name this program Hello Dash World, what do you think will happen? Will that work? Will I get an error? What's up? What will happen there? Kiara says an error. Anybody thinks we'll get right? Savani says we get an error. No, Sonia said it's not supposed to. And why is that? Class, we have to be very mindful. In most programming languages, especially high-level programming languages, spaces for variable, for names of variables, for names of consonants are not allowed. So that is just how it's built, and that is one of the most common errors, is that students or programmers will put a space between in the names of variables. Do not do that. That will create an error. Why I am Probably they did that to save memory space back in the days when memory was expensive. So we have some options. We could either put join the two words hello world. We could put a capital W so we could easily recognize that it's two separate words. What I like to do sometimes is that I might put an underscore instead of a space. Everybody following so far? Easy stuff, hard stuff. Yes, Pascal is case insensitive, but it is space sensitive. Yes, Daniel, very good, very good. That is why sometimes some apps you might see that's two words, WhatsApp in some cases. So if you were to get into the source code of these programs, you would see like WhatsApp as one word. And yeah, yeah, correct. Nathan, this is hard. Nathan, we only tell me what's difficult about this because we only just getting started. Right now, all you need to remember to name a program, to give your Pascal program a name, you have to say program, type the word program, hello world, semicolon. And if we run the code, right? So I really supposed to put, after that, we really supposed to put begin. The next step is begin and end. So begin and end is like start and stop. So after we give the program a name, what I like to do is immediately I will put these two two statements here. Begin begin, and end full stop. Can you all see my screen? Is my screen too small? Let me make it larger. Is that better? How are we looking? So Sonia, websites and apps don't use Pascal actually. They use different programming languages. So apps might fall under JavaScript, Java. Some websites will fall under HTML and PHP and HTML. Why the semicolon? Very good. I'll answer that question. Can you clear screen? Yes, you can. So the questions people are asking about what is Pascal used for? Now, class, long time ago when computers now came out, programmers needed a compiler. So there was Pascal, there was C, there was C++. These are all different types of programming languages that were used when they had mainframes just to even to start up your to do simple instructions. But now in this advanced world, there's all types of programming languages. You can name it. Python is a very popular one. This Akil asks what type of level of coding is. This is a high level programming language. And Arden, to answer your question, why the semicolon? Think of the semicolon as a full stop. And sit like just like in English language and grammar, think of the semicolon as a full stop. So you might want to say the boy wrote his exams in January. The boy passed his exams in January. He scored 90%. And because he scored 90%, his parents were very proud of him. Think of that sentence if there were no punctuation. No punctuations in a very long sentence. Doesn't it make a sentence very difficult to understand? Well, that's the purpose of the semicolon, is a punctuation mark to help the computer know when a line ends and when another line begins. A punctuation mark, a comma, an apostrophe, an exclamation mark, a question mark, all of those change the context of a sentence. So similarly, with a semicolon, it has the same effect, but for computers. Okay, Arden? Sonia, in other languages, so far for C++ and Pascal, semicolons are used, but other programming languages may not use semicolons. In fact, if not, all of them would use semicolon. G1 in Python, what is semicolon used as well? Okay, so let's move on to the next to the other part of to the other part. I know it's very interesting what we're talking about, but we have a lot to cover. We have a lot to cover. So class, we have to talk about outputting and inputting data from our Pascal code. So Kiara, very good. Very good question. So when we are using end, when we are ending our statement, we use our full stop. So think of the full stop as another punctuation mark. So to end a loop, and we will talk about loops later, we could always put a full stop. But for the majority of the code, we will be using semicolon, and at the end, the final line for end, we use a full stop. So class, I mean, what I would like to do is talk about output, talk about display, talk about print. Remember, in the first question, we had options of print and display. There was C out, and what was the other one? Write line, right? WIRTELN. If I would like to output text in Pascal, I use this syntax, write line. Now pay attention to this. This is where a lot of students get tripped up. Are you all paying attention? This part is very important. If you were not paying attention now, this is the time to pay attention. Everyone is with me? Right. So this part is important. The syntax for outputting is write line, open bracket, apostrophe, and we want to say hello world. Close up apostrophe and close bracket, and what comes at the end? Full stop or semicolon or a comma. What comes at the end? Full stop, comma, semicolon. What comes at the end? For those of you paying attention. Semicolon, semicolon. Right. Nathaniel asks, what does write line mean? And I'm sure everybody has that question on their mind. Write line. So we could, Nathaniel, we could either say write or write ln. Write ln is actually short for write line. But once again, programmers wanted to save memory, so they took out the vowels and they had a write line. What that basically means is that when we write hello world or we display an output, another line below is created. So you will see the cursor, you see this cursor blinking, we'll go on to the next line. So let us run this code and I will show you. So you won't see it here because the program ends, but what happens is that when you use the word write line as your output, the cursor, your mouse cursor here, this blinking vertical dash, will go to the next line below. That's all it does. It doesn't do anything else besides that. Okay, so someone asks, there's no big space. I just wanted to demonstrate a point of some, just demonstrate. That's just what happened. So Aman says, explain something back. What to explain? So Nathaniel, we're good with right line. Anybody have any questions about right line? Daniel asks about the underscore. So Daniel, if I were to say hello with a hello world with a space in program, if I run the program, I will get an error. Daniel, you saw that? So class, the question was, why was there an underscore between hello and world? The reason being is that when we are naming variables, we do not have spaces. We have to either join the words together. What I like to do is put the underscore, or we could join the two words together. And when you hit run, the program runs. Now, how many of you are looking at line 3 and say, but sir, there's a space between hello world and that line? How many of you made that observation? How many of you have that question right, Janiki? Correct, correct. Um, I don't think I have time to go through the entire thing, Aman, because we have a lot to cover. We want to talk about calculations by the end of today's class, and boy, are we good on time. Right. So good. I have a very observant class. Students are asking questions, but sir, why is there space allowed here when I said you variables are not allowed to have spaces? Okay. Who here has a middle name and a last name? Sorry, a first name and a last name. Someone tell me their first name and last name in the chat. Maliki Grant. Right. Malik. Am I pronounced? Is it Malik Grant or Malik Grant? Right. So I'm going to use your name as an example. Right. Sorry, Malik. Malik. Sorry, Malik Grant. Great. Sorry, guys. Malik Grant was first. So class, think about it. What's the purpose if programs whether it's C++, your WhatsApp, your Microsoft Word, did not allow you to have a separation between your first name and last name? They will say I was not able to put my first name and last name separate, or in other words, Malik Grant. If every time it had to output the name, it said Malik Grant without a space or underscore, well, would that make sense? Well, will that program really make sense? It jumbling up your names together, right? That would be a horrible program. If I wanted to output Malik Grant and then Nicholas Awong without spaces, and I run this program, and look what's happening here. Look what's happening here. Or everybody named jumble up. If we were not allowed to have spaces in our when we're outputting data, or the data looks jumbled up, wouldn't that program be useless? So programmers found a way, said, hey, you know what? Let me allow spaces and output text as is. What you see is what you get. So how they do that is that they add in these apostrophes. Everybody seeing this little apostrophe here? Me, zoom in again. It's a little too much. Everybody seeing the apostrophe here? The single apostrophe. Jean Michael said yes. Terrell, no, Terrell, that's incorrect. Kiara says yes. Right, the apostrophe basically says however the text is typed inside of here, whether we put a space here or a space there or a space there or a space here, that is what the output will be. So let's hit run now and look, it created the spaces exactly where we told it to create the spaces. We have the space between the M and the A, the Q and the U, E and G, and so Shiloh, maybe you could copy and paste the code in the chat and we can have a look at it. Jam Michael. All right, Michael. Awesome. That's a cool name. Seeing some cool names here. Jonathan's a cool name. Nicholas, Stephen, Isabel, Alyssa. How come all the parents give all the cool names, boy? I have to have a word with my parents. So that is how, if we would like to have our first name and last names printed out, we use the apostrophe to do that. And when we create an apostrophe, it's no longer a variable, it's just an output. Everybody following so far? Anybody's confused? Patel, how we doing? Right. So Abhishek, I think I've not seen the PM program add. Okay, oh, you just copy and paste. You wrote that code just now, Stephen. So Stephen, all right. So class, check out this code that Stephen wrote for us. And I encourage you all, anybody here, open up their compiler and started writing code. I'll encourage you all to do that. So maybe I could debug your code and tell you what your errors are. So Stephen, I am already seeing the error in this code. And you know what? This is an error common error that everybody will make. Who here could tell me what's the error with this code here? Okay, y'all don't need to put these calculate age codes as yet. We're not reaching there. We're reached there as yet. We have not reached there as yet. So Savani said there's a space between hello world. Savani, are you saying that? You saying that the error is this here? Mitchell says that this is the error, is a square bracket. Nathaniel says square brackets. Alvin says wrong brackets. Malik says there's a space in hello world. Right. So class, it has to be not the square brackets, but the curly brackets. Right, and Savani, the space in this hello world is fine. See how it turned green? That is fine. If you had a space here, then there will be an error. So also pay attention to the colors of the text. The white text is more or less statements or variables. The brown text or orange text is like names, programs, statements also as well. But the green are our, let me just say, names, not variables, but our outputs. How are we going so far? All right, someone put a link there. Don't click on that, only click on my links, please. Shiloh, you copy and paste that. That looks okay, but just remove the numbers in front of the line. All right, so y'all try to stick with don't click on any other links other persons would have posted. Just stick to the links that I would have posted. Oh, okay, cool. All right, y'all not seen that? Okay, don't worry about that. I think everybody could only direct message me. All right, no worries. So, class, how we looking? Any questions before we move on to inputs? So let me say hello. Let me use some other students' names. So I used Malik just now. Who wants their name on the Shiloh? Shiloh, what's not working? Someone says program, good day friend. So all right, so let's go with hello best friend. In this code, I want to be able to enter my name into this program. How do we do that? How we talked about outputs, right line as output. When we say right line, we get look at this. Look what I'm highlighting. I'm highlighting here. Hello, best friend. Right? But I want to be able to enter my name into this program. How do I do that? How do I enter my name? How do I input a value? How do I input data? Well, I'm glad you asked. We will use this statement called read, readln. Read line. Once again, read ln is short for read line, but we take out the two vowels, the I and the E. When we say read line, name, or we could say read line name. So I'm gonna put open bracket, close bracket, semicolon, and I'm gonna put, I don't know, first name. Once again, no spaces in first name. I'm going to pause for questions. Jesse, that program looks good. That program looks good. I think we will, Jesse, we'll do this one once we have time at the end of the class. We could do that, but I will not be. I don't think I have time to do if statements as yet. So, class, I'm going to pause for questions this, about this code that I wrote here. Write in. Your teacher says write in. No problem. Everybody has their way of saying it. I have some students here who write in code and want me to come and check it. I would love to do that. Maybe after class, we could probably sit down and talk about the codes that you wrote. But right now, we have a lot to cover. Ah, yes. Did I say, someone said, I said that spaces were fine in the brackets. Did I really say that, or did I say something slightly different to that? What I said is spaces were fine between the apostrophes. The apostrophes, that's what I said. Yes, Enrique, correct. You were paying attention. Enrique was paying attention. Now, there is no space in first name. Why I don't have a space in first name here? Why is that? Shiloh, that's a different question for another class. No, yes, correct, Aidan. No apostrophe. Well, not only that. Are you familiar with the term variables? Are you all familiar with um variables and data types. The people who wrote the code for you all would have done variables, right? So there was something, Jesse, your program had variables. You use an integer, okay? So class, we have to talk about something very important first before we continue at this point on inputs. Kayla, the link for what? For this compiler? Sure, here's the link for this compiler. So let us talk a little bit about variables and data types. So class, what I have to do is that for any sort of data, whether it is an input, I am inputting data, or if I am outputting data, I have to give it a variable name. I have to give it a variable name. And also, I have to give it a variable what? When I give something a variable name, I also have to give it a variable type, Type, type. Everybody's with me on that? That's fine. If your teacher did with numbers only, that is fine. You could do it with numbers, we could do it with text, but we're going to do it with text now. After I will talk about numbers. So once again, I just want everybody following me. Is everybody following me, or does everybody understand that when we have to input and output data in Pascal, we have to give that data a variable name as well as a variable type. Everybody follow? All good, right? Caitlin, first time seeing this. Caitlin, if it, is it confusing? Good. So how do we do that in Pascal? Well, we start off by putting VAR. You all remember from football, VAR, virtual assistant referee? Well, VAR is actually short for variable. But once again, programmers wanted to save space to create save memory because memory was expensive back in the days. So we would call it var. And then when we create a new line, we go into a new line and we give the name of our variable. So I will give my variable a name, I don't know, first name, Firstname. What did we say about naming variables? No spaces. No spaces. Right? So no spaces. And then I have to do what? Give it a type. So class, tell me, a name of someone, is that a string, a number, an integer, a character? Char? So Sati asks, so Sati, check this out. I'm going to show you what we're creating, but I'm going to break it down. I'm just explaining how to create the program name, how to create variables, how to create inputs and outputs. And later on in the next example, you'll see how everything ties together. All right. So character and string. Thank goodness nobody said number or integer because that would have been hilarious. So yes, it is a string. Stanley, correct. String. Nathaniel, correct. String. Why not a character? Shiloh said string. Bashana said string. I really hope to see you guys in future classes, you know. So class, a string, first of all, a character. Let's talk about a character. A character. I know we're not talking about those characters in class we just have sometime, not those characters in school or characters in comic books. No, we're not talking about those types of characters. When we're talking about character, we are talking about a single letter. So A is a character. B is a character. It's a single letter or a single number. O is a character. However, when we have multiple characters appended together or joined together, then that becomes a string. So if we have, I don't know, someone's name. Let's take a name here. Who was the last? Stanley. Isn't Stanley a bunch of characters joined together? Isn't Stanley S joined with a T, joined with a A, and L-E-Y? Isn't Stanley a bunch of characters, letters, spaces are character, yes, joined together? So when we have characters or a bunch of letters, spaces joined together, numbers joined together, that becomes a string. And because we want our first name to be entered, we have to call it a string. We have to give it a variable type of string. So we now say colon string semicolon. That is how we declare a variable here. I'm going to pause for questions. Junior, that's it. Junior, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. That's an excellent question, and I will explain the difference between a constant and a variable when we start to talk about the numbers. So the next example, before the end of today's class, I will definitely answer that question, but I'm taking you through some steps first. So I'm pausing for questions. Everybody so far, any questions? Aidan, excellent question. In this example, I just have the read line after the write line. In other examples, you will see me putting the read line before the write line. So Danielle, reason why this here is the proper syntax of declaring variables. All that input and output words that I used there, I was just using text to demonstrate a point. So everybody is all good. Devi is surprised that she's following. Jewel, send me your code and we will take a look at it later. I'm glad to see that other students are trying to write the code while they're following me. So everybody, can I can I assume that most students here are trying to write the code into their compiler and everybody code has compiled successfully? Yes, Stanley, special characters are also characters. Every single button on your keyboard except for F5, numlock, home, page up are all characters. All right, so can we move on? Can we move on? Any questions? Zaria, flowcharts are different. So Arden says he has a little challenge with his code. Let's see what's going on. So, Arden, so you all check this out. This here, let me copy mine. Let me do a before. Can you all see Arden's code? Check out Arden's code here. Who here could tell me what's the error with this code? Arden, I'm seeing the error. I just want to see if the class is seeing it also. So Arden, no, you're not going to get homework today. You all are getting homework. The other teachers gave you all homework. Ah, so Arden, first thing first, and I love first thing first. Arden, how come you have first friend here and first name here? Okay, Arden, you have a variable here on line 11 that was not declared. You have to make sure you spell your variables, the variables are consistently. No, you're not gonna get any programming homework. All on vacation, I won't do all of that. You want homework? If you all want homework, say so, you know. All right. Good. I mean, I have plenty. All right, good. So let us not bring that up again. Amen. Okay, so Arden. Right, so Arden, it's your spelled your first friend. That variable was not declared. Also, I believe this dot at after end it might cause some trouble, but we good to go. So Gittens, it is VAR, not VER, right? So we say first name, and I will take out this dot, that space by that dot there. We should be good to go. Yes, and the code works very well. Enter first name. I'm gonna enter first name, and right, and that's it. So on it, somebody wants to be called Lord Divolo. So Gitten's VAR, not VER, right? VAR is short for variable. And this is how we have to, when we are declaring our variables, we have to start with this line VAR, new line, and we give our variable name, and we give it a type. So let us now finish up this example here, because all we did is that we just entered our first name, and that's it. If we run this program, let's just say hello best friend, and when I say put my name, that's it. The program ends. So what we're going to do is that we're going to use the inputted data to then output it. How do I do that? Well, as we would have said before, right line, that's how we do our outputs. Um, Apostrophes, and I want to say hello. Check this out. I want to output variables. How do I output variables? So remember, we said that, no, we didn't actually, not remember. I did not mention this before. So to output, we want to say output the variable first name. What is the name of that? First name is FIRST, right line output first name, and then I want to say Hello, hello, Ivan, or whatever your first name is. Hello, apostrophe, hello, and welcome. Right line, hello, and welcome. Welcome to the Pascal matrix. So class, what I am doing here is I am telling the program to ask me for my first name. Yes, unique, it is a variable type, correct. Yes, Davey, no homework. And then when I enter my first name over here, the program will output my first name and then give me a message saying, welcome to the Pascal matrix. Yeah, putting read line, write line. Sure about that? Let's see. So, hello, best friend. In fact, here what? Before, please enter hello, best friend. I wanted to prompt me for my first name. Please, yes, me. Please, sorry, please enter your first name. I'm gonna run it. All right. So, paying attention to this part of the screen here now. So I will enter my first name, Kevan, Kevan. And when I hit enter, hello, Kevan, welcome to the Pascal matrix. Because I told it when I enter my first name, which is the variable first name here, it will then output it and say, welcome to the Pascal matrix. Isn't programming cool? Did everybody get their code to work? Was everybody here able to get the code to do this? Anybody's getting errors with the code? So tell us what the errors they're having here. So Divolo, or I hope I'm pronouncing. Can you use another name? Um, I'm not sure why you're saying vinegar, but so class, I get the sense that I could see it in your eyes. The class, I can see your eyes. I can see your expression. There is a lost look on everybody's faces. Would you like me to repeat it? Would you like me to do another example? Are you getting errors with your code? I'm going to pause for questions and comments and concerns. What are your questions? What are your concerns? Is it lunchtime? Are you hungry? Are you thinking about food? Tell me, say something. Right? All right. So based on everybody's Shiloh shares proud of yourself. Tell us why you Eden something. Another example would be appreciated. I think another example. Someone said it got through. I think another example will help. So let us use another example using everybody's favorite numbers. So what we're going to do is that we're going to do another example. Arden said this is hard. All right, so Arden, we're going to do another example using numbers and calculations. Maybe if we talk about numbers and calculations, some students will follow better. Saria, yes, when doing IT, you definitely need a laptop. If not, you could access the school one if you wish. Okay, then apparently I was muted. Jerry will get to that at the end of today's class. In fact, let us talk about Jerry's code real quick, just so that Jerry okay, so before we jump into the number example, let's do Jerry and Divolo's code real quick. Hope I'm pronouncing your names correctly. Please let me know if I'm pronouncing your names incorrectly. So Jerry, you have a whole bunch of spaces here. Let's start cleaning this up. Jerry, you following me? Jerry, you seen everything here? All right, so Jerry said right line, put name here. Welcome to Matrix. So Jerry, you did everything correct. And it's just this line here on line 14 is what you're talking about, right? Jerry, right. So Jerry, what do we put here? Paying attention? Jerry, are you paying attention? Is the class paying attention? The answer is so simple. You're literally putting first name, this variable, first name inside of here. I'm going to put first name, no spaces, because that's what you have here. Sometimes you can literally copy, so right click, copy, and paste it. And when you run the code, boom, enter your name. Jerry said not enter your name. Jerry want everybody to know he's from the Caribbean. So you're gonna put Jerry, and I'm gonna put it in all capital letters. Enter your name, Jerry. Jerry, welcome to my code thingy. Jerry, how does that sound? Isn't that what you were looking at? Right? Jojo, so somebody here. Jojo, let's see what you have here. Right, so once again, we need to clear up some spaces here. First name string looks good. Begin first, but it's working. But this code working? No, it's not. Ah, you forgot your semicolon. Yeah, and I think that's it. Yeah, I should run. Right, we're good. Yeah, if all you want to try all the code and the given errors, copy and paste it in the chat. I'm gonna do 3 more before we move on because we have a half an hour remaining and I want to cover numbers. Oh, look, somebody did a first number. All right. Tristan says needs help with his. Tristan, I'm not seeing any code here from you. Oh, so Tristan, you forgot your semicolon. Tristan, you all check this out. This is Tristan code. And just off the bat, Tristan is missing a semicolon after hello world. So this is it here. Okay, I'm not able to copy and paste it for some weird reason. Try this one more time. Um, all right, Tristan, but your code is in a semicolon after hello world. Anaya says she does not understand. Aidan, I think yours might be looking good. Let's see. Why am I not able to pierce anything here? Oh, that's so last example that I'm looking at here, Eden, I think you're good. Your code should be have an error. So it's telling us, Eden, so I want to give you all a tip. And that tip is when you get in these errors here, Eden, Sonia, it's going to tell you, you're going to see two numbers in a bracket here. It's going to say main.pas bracket 3 comma 1. What that is telling you, the first number 3, that is that there's an error in this vicinity here. In line 3, there's an error. Well, at least in this vicinity. So Aaron, Vishana, that's a very good question, and I think I know what exactly you're talking about. In the next example, I'll tell you. Yeah, so Aaron, you're missing a semicolon here and a semicolon there. Class, most of the time, the compiler will tell you where the error is, and you just have to go back to the line and it will tell you where to look. Just have a second look and everything should be, it will guide you to where the error is. And the last one from Sonia I'm going to do before we move on to the next example. So Sonia, once again, this should be looking good. You have your semicolons in the right place, first name. I think you're good with your code looking good. It look like a run. Boom. Hello, bestie. Please enter your name. All right, so we entering besties' names. Bestie name will be Mike Adon. Adon is your bestie. Hello, there is Adon. Right? How that it works. So your code works. Nice, students. Awesome. Some of you are somebody wants a quiz. Somebody wants a quiz. All right. So Tristan, this is a big topic. Honestly, we had a quiz earlier. By the way, Tristan, we had a quiz at the start of today's class. Just saying. So let us now move on to another example. Oh, Danielle asks, what does write line do that's different from read line? So Danielle, write line is for output, read line is for input. So that's a big difference. So class, we're going to now talk about inputting numbers and doing calculations. So here I am. I'm going to name my program calculations. And in this program, what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter two numbers. And when those two numbers are entered, I'm going to add those two numbers and I would like to output the value of that function, of that calculation. How that sounding? That sounding easy, right? Someone asks for the website, there's the website. That sounds easy, correct? Easy stuff. Nikolai, here's the, oh, wait. You want the link for the quiz is what you're asking for that we had earlier, or you want the link for the compiler? Well, either way, here of them. Here's the link for the compiler, and here's the link for the quiz we had earlier today. So back to this example. Now, once again, I want to input two numbers separately. I want to input a number 1 and then a number 2. So after I give my program a name, what do I have to do? I have to declare the variables. Look at this slide here. Look at this slide. Oops, you all cannot see the slide. Let me show you all the slide. That is why. You all remember this slide here that I have, this page 2 of the PowerPoint? Take a note of this slide. And this slide says something is happening. What's happening? Something is happening that is not supposed to happen. Right. So class, this slide here tells us class, I'm having some technical difficulties. Sorry about that. So this slide here is that we have to look at this. You have to give the program a name, and after you give it a name, you have to declare the variables. See, var, declare the variables. Then we begin the program, and then we do our read lines, our write lines, we write our function, and then we end it. That is what we are doing here. I have to declare my variables. So I will have a variable called number1, and I'll have a variable called number2. And class, look at what I'm doing here. The first variable name is number1, comma, let me zoom in, comma, number2, colon, I'm going to give them of type, I don't know, integer. Or do I name them type string? Tell me, does this make sense so far? Remember, I'm adding two numbers and I'm declaring them as number1, number2 of type string. For those of you who dare tell me that this is incorrect, I want you all to be brave and tell me that that is incorrect. So we have some brave ones saying, Nathaniel, it must be an integer. String is for words. It should be an integer. And yes, students, the brave and the bold, it has to be of type either integer, or we could even call it of type real. But we would just use integers for now. Integer. Very good. Very good. Very good. G1, very good. Mali, Aidan, very good. You guys are following on Nathaniel. Very good. You guys are following. For the rest of the class, yes, Aliyah. Very good. You know, I have 188 students here and only six of you responded. Huh? Just saying. Now, we would like to prompt the user to enter these numbers. So I want to say right line, welcome to my calculator, right? Please enter the first number. End line. So let me just clean this up a little bit. Please enter the first number. Class, remember we said for right line, what we do, open bracket, colon, enter our text, sorry, apostrophe, enter the text as we want it to appear, apostrophe, close bracket, semicolon. How does that sound? Vishana, very good code. That looks, but Vishana, you teaching the class. That is awesome. I'm seeing it. Yeah, that will compile soon. That awesome. So we agree with this line of code so far, right? So after we output that, we then have to say what would right line, after say right line number 1. So let us run this code and see if we get in any errors. So far no errors, right? It tells us welcome to my calculator and please enter the first number. And we have to enter the first number and that's it. So the program so far is doing what we're telling it to do, no syntax errors. Any questions up to this point? We're all good, right? Right line, read line. Kayla asks, what do you mean please enter in line 9? Not sure what that means. Maybe you can elaborate on that. So on the next line, I would like to tell the user, you know what? Thank you for entering the first number. Now enter the second number. So say, thank you for entering the first number. Can you now please enter the second number? This program is so polite. This is such a polite, it's saying please and thank you. If some humans would even talk like that, huh? Right? I'm going to ask it to enter the second. My code is disappearing. Thank you for, can you now, okay, let me take off all this stuff here. Reload this. Can you please enter the second number? So, right? So readline the second number. So class, I have a question for you all here. What goes inside of these two brackets here? In line 12, in read line, what do I enter inside of those two brackets there? I have 100. Correct, Sonia, Isaac, correct, Tristan, number two, Juniki, yes, Stanley, correct, is number two. You have to put Kales. Right, I wasn't muted, I got disconnected. Sorry about that. Now, Zaira, I got disconnected. Tristan, yes, number two, correct. Caitlin, not seeing the screen. Davy, look at yours. We'll look at yours in a little bit, right? Um, so it would be number two. And now, how do I add two variables? How do I go about adding two numbers? Right? So what we have to do is, so Davey was talking about, hello dear traveler. It's my dearest honor to meet you. That is awesome stuff. So class, how do we add variables or how do we add integers or numbers in Pascal? Well, I'm glad you asked. So what we do is just like in normal Excel, we basically say we add the two numbers. We say number one plus number two, but and semicolon. But there is some syntax we have to be mindful of. The syntax is a little bit different. So first of all, we have to assign the summation of these two numbers to our variable. And we will call that variable sum, S-U-M. Now look at this part here. And we don't say equal. We don't, in Pascal, we don't just say equal. What we say in Pascal is colon equal. Everybody got that? Colon equal. Not semicolon, not equal sign. Oh, you can't see my screen. Sorry about that. I am so sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, you can see my screen now. My goodness. I get the most amount of messages when I can't see my screen. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. So let me say that again one last time and we'll end it off here. Let me delete this line. So class, how we add numbers in Pascal is we will might say sum a variable sum is equal, but we do not say sum is equal to, what we say is colon equal sign. Can you all see that? Can you all see my screen now? And are you all seeing the equal sign? Colon and equal sign. Right. So in Pascal is not just equal, it is colon equal. And sum is equal to number 1 plus number 2 semicolon. This is how we do calculations, additions, subtractions, multiplications, mod in Pascal. Are you all seeing my screen still? Or you're not seeing it? Still not seeing my screen? Why? Okay, you'll see it now. So let me see this one last time. Maybe, okay, y'all now see that. So look at line 14. We could, when we are adding variables, we say number 1 plus number 2, semicolon. But we have to assign this to a variable, and we're going to assign this to a variable called sum. Many of us are familiar in maths class and art maths and physics that we say equal. But in Pascal, we have to say not just equal, we have to say colon equal. Number 1 plus number 2. And yes, Isaac, I was waiting for someone to say that. Isaac said there's an error. What is the error? Well, I have a variable called sum, but in the declaring of my variables, did I declare the variable sum? No, I did not. I have to declare my variable as sum. So since sum is already an integer, I'm going to say comma, sum is an integer. What will happen now when I run this code? When I run this code, guess what? It's asking me to please enter the first number. So the first number will be 100. My first number will be 100. Hold on, something is happening here. Right, so, oops. Right, the first number is 100. Hit enter. Can you now please enter the second number? Class, what should my second number be? Let's say 99. What do you think will happen when I hit enter? For those of you paying attention, notice that I did not have any, or I did not tell the program to output. Yes, it will add the numbers, but will it output the numbers? No, because I did not tell it to output. I have to say right line. I have to say right line total sum is, that is the text. And now I have to say right line sum within the close brackets. Ah, you all did not see that. Yes, Stanley, all variables are defined in the variable statement. You have to. So let us run this real quick. Please enter the first number. Somebody said 354 plus 78. So 354 plus 78 is 432. Questions. I see Isaac's enter his code. So let us look at what Isaac code is like. We just have a few more minutes, class. Just have a few more minutes. No, maybe we could squeeze in a quiz. What do you think? Squeeze in a quiz. So let's run Isaac code, right? Welcome to calculator B5600. Please enter your first number. So our first number is 5600. Please enter your second number. We're going to put it as 1. And your answer is 5601. That's an excellent code, Isaac. Nicholas says his one has an error. So let's see what his error is. Nicholas, no programmer left behind. We're going to make sure everybody who has an error, we're fixing it. Okay, so Nicholas, just off the bat, you're missing some semicolons. You're missing a semicolon on line 29 and on line 31. Let us run it and see what's happening. Still getting an error. It's telling us here, look, there's some errors in line 21 and line 33. So let's look at line 21 and 33. Read line, write line, number 1, number 2. Let me just clean this up a little bit. Please enter your first number, read line number 1. This looks good. Sum is correct. I'm not seeing any errors here though. What's going on? Line 16 and line 26. What am I saying that nobody else is Nicholas, I'm not sure what's going on here. I see any dot. All your dots are okay. Total sum that is correct. 21 sum number 1. Are your variables correct? Yeah, your variables are there. Sum. Nicholas, that's a strange one. I'll get back to that in a bit. Space in line 16, someone said. Space in line 16. No, this is correct actually. You can have this space here, that's fine. All of his, I think we're good enough. Let's check one more. Jewel did one. Let's see what Jewel did. Because that's a strange one though. So Jewel, you're supposed to put your full stop at the end of the word end. Missing out a curly bracket there with a semicolon. What else? 15, look, they're telling us line 15 and line 17 have some errors. Right line, you left out T and right, a little spelling error, and we're good to go. Jewel, you follow that? Devalo says, Nazia, let's see, one more code. We're gonna check one more and we'll have to close off. Class, one other thing, I also at times on my, I do post videos like little short clips explaining certain topics. All right. So I do post it sometimes. You could also always find it there. I think that should be the link. So now and then I'll post little videos about the anatomy of a computer. So feel free to check it out when you get a chance, if it comes up. Uh, all right. Says something went wrong. Refresh. All right, let's check some more codes. Zia, right, so Zia, we're good. First number 78 plus 12, it's 90. Who code did I miss out? I missed out anyone else? All right, class, so it's now 1:15. So this is the point where I will, hold on. Yeah, Isabel, I'm gonna check your code real quick. Yeah, y'all could go ahead and leave. Y'all could go ahead and leave. Just checking this last piece of code here before we close up. Isabel was waiting for a while. So Isabel, this is your code here. Um, uh, am I seeing any errors? It's telling us there's an error in line 9. Welcome. So there's a space you have between right and line. Looks like there's your code and it works. All right, class. So thank you, thank you. Oh, sorry about that. Um, yes, so Isabel, the problem with your code was that you had a space and right line on line 9. So there was an error there. All right, class. So who else has their code to check? For those of you who want to stay back and DV, some of you are being awesome and hanging around. All right. Um, I'm trying to share this trying to share those other videos that I did concerning explaining certain topics. I don't know why I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe you could copy and paste it. So um who else? So Davy was having some problems with her code. Something about the moon. Let's see what's happening here, Davy. Can you see my screen? All right. So Davy, this is your. Okay. I'm not able to. All right. Here we go. Right, so hitting a run here, and what errors are we seeing? So Davy, we have some errors on line 25. So read line your text correct, but check this out, Davy. Right line, read line, right line. All right, so with line 25, there is no other variable called your text. So maybe that's the issue. So what we're gonna say is we're gonna say first name, change that to first name and see what happens. All right, so Davy, that's what's happening there. You had a variable on line 25 that was not declared. You got that? Shiloh and G1 Kayla. All right, so Kyla and Shiloh, those are the last two I'll be doing. But I think most people left already. So check this out. Please enter. So yours working good. All right, Shiloh, yours is working fine. Excellent. No compiling errors. Kyla, let's see what's happening here. Program calculate. Oh, no. G1 did a whole calculator. G1, you're easy. Right, Kyla. Let's see what's happening here. There's an error in line 31 and 35. So what's happening here, Kyla, is that in your cafe, you did not define these variables, this variable called order. So you have a variable called order, and you did not declare that variable. Now that we run it and we change it to first name, everything is working good. All right, Kyla, Shiloh, everybody is good. So thank you for hanging out with us on this Wednesday afternoon. Enjoy your lunch and check out um, check out the videos that I would have posted uh, as a recap for certain topics, and I'll put it here in the chat. All right, so Tev, okay, class. So thank you very much, and I will see you all next week, same time, same place. Goodbye.